Well, I couldn't be more excited to welcome Amanda Bell from Bell Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and beyond. Thank you for joining. Welcome.
Thanks so much, John, for having me. I'm very excited to be here. I was telling the team this morning, I was like, we get to go meet with John on the podcast today. What a good time.
Oh, well, thank you so much. And I know you've come from Mexico recently, which we'll talk a little bit about later here. And you're just busy, busy, busy with your team, and you squeezed us in today, and I'm very grateful. Thank you.
Yeah, no, of course. I'm like, always time for you guys. Always time for you guys.
Well, thank you. So, you know what? People want to know even more so a little bit about your background, why they should use the Bell Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway. And could you maybe just get us kicked off here? How did you get into real estate and, kind of leading up to where you're at now? And maybe fill us in on the details.
I love that question. And, I get asked that question quite often, not necessarily from clients, but more so from our community or people outside of the community that are interested in getting into real estate. Amanda, what got you started and how'd you do it? And it's like, man, there's a million different directions we could run that in.
Yeah, I'm
But for
sure.
layman terms, if you will, I was kind of all over the place. I was young. I had my son at a young age. My boys are now 15, 16, and 17 years old. So I've had years to kind of figure out what direction I was going to take life in. But boy, before they hit first grade, were we just kind of moving around the Metroplex and even moved out of state for a few years. And that was all due to work. I was chasing the job. So we chased the oil and gas industry. We chased a few executive positions. Originally, I started out at a law firm. I thought I was going to be an attorney when I grew up. And sure enough, I decided that working with people that weren't happy every day wasn't something that I felt like doing the rest of my life in. And so I made a quick pivot. It took my twin sister telling me she was going to get licensed in real estate for me to say, well, hold on, I'm coming with you. Our mom has been in real estate since I've never seen her do anything else. So since before I can even remember,
You were real
and
estate
as
babies. You
real
guys grew up
estate
in it.
babies. And I swore up and down I was not going to get into real estate because I saw the hours she worked, nights, weekends. She missed all the games. She was that mom raising, she was a single mom raising two twin girls, and having to pay for everything at the same time. So when one was getting a phone, they both were getting phones. When one was getting
Right.
a vehicle, they both were getting. So she absolutely crushed it for us. But I swore up and down I was not going to do it. There was no way then I was going to get into real estate. And God just has a really funny way of working out because at the end of the day, it wasn't my plan to begin with; it was His. The journey that we started out on at the law firm, I ended up working for a firm that was real estate. The first firm I ever worked at, I was next to the partner the partner attorney who practiced real estate law. And so, what are the odds? He ended up
Right.
passing away, and corporation law was the other partner attorney. So, between the two, I got to see the legal side of businesses and corporations, and I got to see the legal side of real estate, which was absolutely fascinating for me in Tarrant County. At the time, it wasn't as fascinating. I was interested because I genuinely get interested in just about anything I'm going to spend time chatting about. But for the most part, I was like, what is this for? Well, within a decade, I'm getting licensed in real estate, and I thought, gosh, you're one wild little creator. You are, to toss me in there and lead me to believe that I was going to be an attorney. I was devastated when I decided against it, but just to find
Sure.
the true path was in real estate and finance. And so that's kind of where I've been ever since. So the background isn't a whole lot of fun. It was a little rocky. There was a lot of trial and error, but where I'm at today, I want to change for the world. I've been doing it for going on a decade now. And once I realized that you'll never know it all, is when I really started to have some fun with it. The education piece and the continuing to grow through it all is probably my favorite. And then giving that back to agents and families in our community along the way has been the sprinkle and the cherry on top. It's been the piece that really makes the ice cream semi enjoyable. So
Well, that's an incredible the starting period. You started off on one journey, and then it's you went into real estate, just like you told yourself I'd never do because my mama was in it, and I'm not going to do that. And you know what? I see that you have your own group today. Can you tell us a little bit about the Bell Realty Group?
I'd love to. This team is like my fourth baby, if you will. They're the youngest. They're about 10 years old, and they are just my absolute, my absolute dream come true. I love it so much here. And it's the people and the culture that brings it in. You surround yourself with individuals that have the same core values, right? That have the same core values, and you all learn and grow together. And the connection and resources that you get exposed to along the way has been fascinating. And the sky's truly been the limit. These guys were a team of 10. We're actually looking for two more agents to join the team before the end of the year. So
Mm.
wish us luck if you know of anybody. We're
Yes,
all about,
yes.
yeah,
Mm,
all about
what of
being
that?
just authentic and real and tapping into who they are. So they get trained in three different areas that I thought, thinking back, I thought, man, Amanda, if you were going to do anything when you first got into real estate, how would you have done it? Joining a team was the first thing that I would have done. It's next to impossible to get a business, an experience-based business off the ground without experience. And so you see a lot of newer agents struggle and leave within a year or two after going into significant amounts of debt. And that's just incredibly unfortunate when you could start with a team and learn from some of the best and use their experience to really ramp things up. So then I thought deeper and I thought, well, then what are you going to offer the agents? What would you have wanted to be offered outside of the team outings that we go to, right? Where and all the different events, if you will. Outside of that, what truly do you wish you would have learned from along the way? And the first thing that came to mind was the mindset. It
Mm,
was the NLP, the neuro linguistics programming. And so we work on ourselves before we work on any business, is the truth. I tell the team members all the time, I don't believe that your business will ever outgrow you. It can't. It can't outgrow you. And so we always slow down to work on ourselves. We're very open, we're very hungry and humble. And it's enjoyable to have a community to surround yourself with that's willing to learn and grow with you and take the wins for what they are and take the losses for lessons. That's the piece that I wish maybe I could have been taught more of. What are emotions? How do you zoom out of them? How can you control them? What leads to results, right? Where does that even start? And breaking it all the way down in a way that is digestible, but then practicing it is the piece that we truly believe in. So they get to learn how the mind works, the neurons in the brain, why it works that way, and then the linguistics behind it, which is the language patterns that create our perception or reality. And so just learning that alone, for the first 30 to 45 minutes of every 2 to 3 hour team meeting, it has been game changer. The amount of confidence that I see these agents come in with and end up with in whatever time frame they decide is absolutely incredible. It's the piece that really lights my soul on fire.
I can
And the
tell
second,
you're really excited about it, and I don't know any other team that I've heard of that spends time doing what you're doing, and that's fascinating.
thanks, John. And then the second piece is really teaching them how to build the foundation to their business, to their real estate career. I tell them all the time, I don't want you to necessarily be a door opener the rest of your life. When we get licensed in real estate, we don't have an exit strategy in mind. I didn't learn that till I was several years in. It's not an easy business to sell or scale for that matter. So my
True.
goal is to really put some pillars under their foundation that can ensure that regardless of what happens to Amanda or to them, that their families are okay. And more than that, if you want it to be generational, take it to generational. If you want it to be world changing, take it to world changing. I don't, it's yours. I just want to help teach you some of the things that I've learned along the way. And then the third piece that they learn, which is, I call it the final piece. It's all of these are always practices, right? It's not something that ever ends by any means. It's always getting better and improving, but is the financial piece. I I, I actually studied at Harvard Business, and got my certificate in leading with finance for my clients first, my sellers. And then I thought, oh my gosh, how wild is this? I can use it in my personal family. And then I thought, well, gosh, Amanda, you're taking this to your business, no doubt. And then one thing led to another, and I said, well, the agents need to know about it too. Everybody
Sure.
needs to know about it. So teaching them the different areas financially to set, I tell them all the time, I'm like, accounting is for the past. You need to know what went on in the past to be able to guide or know if you need to steer the ship in a different direction, right? But there's nothing you can do about accounting. It is what it is. The numbers are there, and that's that. Now, with finance, it's future forward thinking of the numbers. The finance is the predictability in what you're doing based on what you have. So it's a database decision versus the emotional based decision that sometimes in real estate, that's how we start. That's you have to start out there. It's like
Right.
no hard feelings if you're still there. You have to be there for a minute, but in fact, have fun while you're there. But at some point, once you know how to make money, once you know how to get to that level, what are you doing with it to ensure that you can give back to your not just your family, but wherever you choose to, your community, evolution in the world, whatever their heart's desire, right? What can we do to make sure that you're set? If I tell them all the time, I'm like, if you decided to go on vacation, what would secure your family? A never ending vacation. What's going on there? Where are you at? And that's the piece that I get excited to be able to share, not only with our families and our community that we help buy and sell homes with, but the team.
That's amazing. And, those three core training principles that you use, the mindset, teaching them how to build that foundation, take care of their families, and then that final financial piece is amazing. And you mentioned that there's four core values, and I think it's right in the back of your head there.
They
Ah,
are those core values, John. I I've had these core values since the beginning and I've never changed them. And I'm a big believer in change. I don't think that anything is concrete or set in stone. I think that allows people to be able to relax some when making decisions that still make a decision. But those core values are the one thing that's never changed. So it's thoughtfulness. Anybody that we work with, I tell the agents all the time and our admin all the time, if the client has to ask us for the update, we're not being thoughtful. If we don't know what to get our client for, 2 weeks post closing for their gift, or when their birthday comes around or their home anniversary comes around or what have you, because you don't know them on a personal level, if you're handing them a Starbucks gift card, like every other, like and they don't even drink coffee, but you didn't know it, we're not being thoughtful. We're not doing something right. So thoughtfulness, I'm big on. If they have to ask a question or if it has to be repeated, I don't believe that we're being thoughtful. I think that that's our job is to listen. I just told the team this morning, I was like, you guys understand, like these ears, those are for hearing. Listening is a different than hearing them. Listening is with your emotions, and I need you to tap into that and listen to them, please, because it's game changer when you can do that and they know it and they feel it. So thoughtfulness is a big one. Creativity is the second one. Creativity is what they're able to tap into. Every human being is a brilliant genius. They've got this subconscious brain sitting on top of their necks that is literally a genius. And once they know that and they can get the conscious mind out of the way and tap into that subconscious mind, we use the analogy of a little metaphor of have you ever drank from one of those frozen mugs with the
yes.
beer and it's
Uh-huh.
like frosty on the outside, you got all that foam on top?
Yep. Yep.
That foam on top is the conscious mind. It's the shit. It comes with it. It's part of it. You scrape that off the top and you got the good stuff,
Right.
right? So getting into the good stuff is where the creativity comes from. It's what allows you to tap into solutions when you need one. It's what allows you to continue to grow and see things from different perspectives, looking at it from every angle. And really, really taking it to the next level for your client. We know in real estate that not one family and not one home is like another. And you absolutely have to get creative. And that's part of getting them to the table, like you promised. So creativity, we're big on. Integrity is a no-brainer. And as cliche as it sounds, it'll never leave that wall. It'll never
Good.
leave that wall. So integrity is what it is, and there's no throwing a fit about that. You have to show up. I tell the agents, show up the way you would want somebody to show up for your spouse, for your kids, for your mom. if you're showing up anything less than that, you're not showing up with the integrity, right? The honesty,
I
loyalty
saw
for
something, integrity reminded me of a buddy of mine. He has a bumper sticker on his car that says, integrity is doing the right thing when nobody else is watching.
100%.
I said, wow,
100%.
that's so true. We always do what's right. It doesn't matter who's watching, but we do it for the right reasons. And I love seeing that on your wall. And what's that last one?
And the last one is fun, John.
Fun.
If we're gonna do it at all, we have to do it having a little bit of fun. It just
Sure.
has to go down that way. It's actually a core value inside of every company that my hands are involved in, nonprofit, anything. If we can't have fun, I don't want to do it. I'm not saying it's gonna be easy. That's not what I said, right? I'm saying that if we're already gonna do it, we're gonna do it with a smile on our face. And that's going to be a wrap, and that's contagious, so that's what keeps the clients coming back for more. That's what keeps them knowing that you're beside them for life and not just a transaction, is that piece. And I truly believe that when you can tap into relaxing and having some fun, it's just life.
Absolutely. And
um
go
that's
ahead.
the piece.
Yeah.
That's the piece that's my most favorite one. I tell the team, I tell them all the time, I'm like, listen, if you already have to wake up, you already have to put your feet on the ground, you already have to do something, can we just have some fun doing it, please?
Absolutely. You mentioned something that, you're going to make it fun, but it's not always going to be easy. And I want to talk about that a little bit because it's no secret the last, 3, 4 years have not been easy. We've had a pandemic. We've had some very challenging financial times. We have what, $1.4 trillion of credit card debt in America right now. That's just weighing on people. So it hasn't been easy. Tell me a little bit about having the mindset that you have of a champion, what pivots and adjustments you've had to make to help your business, Bell Realty Group, and your clients be successful. What pivots and adjustments have you had to make?
I love that. The mindset behind and what pivots. So I'll be completely honest, John. I think that if I knew what made it successful, I would have it would already be. I don't think that that's ever and ever changing, or a one thing stays the same forever. I think that that's something that we'll always be navigating through. I thought I found it at one point, and I worked from the ego a lot. And I'm okay, and I'm comfortable with that. It is what it is. I was like
Sure.
gung ho, Amanda Bell. Today we actually get the feedback from the agents that reach out to join the team. We don't make a lot of posts or seek the agents. They typically find us. Every agent on the team today came to the team. And I don't say that in a bragging way. I say it because there's something that's spreading in the community that they're curious about. And when they're curious about it, I'm curious why. What brought you in? So asking the questions back to these guys, and that's where I found that it is a lot of it is the different training models and methods that are being offered here. And I don't even call it training. I usually break it down between the three: the personal growth, and the business growth, and the financial growth. We tap on spirituality some. I believe you got to believe
Good,
in something. I don't
good.
care what you call it, but you got to
Absolutely.
believe in it. Um, and so with that, I really just, I feel like a really good champion is going to reverse engineer the plan, and the mindset of a champion is going to reverse engineer the plan. So instead of me creating it, I'm going to go find the ones that believe it's been created, and pick that apart some. And then, so that's what we do. So we reach out to our clients and ask them why they chose us. We reach out to, all the things that you can do. And it's not just as simple as that. There's detailed questions that we ask that get us the responses that we're looking for, that tell us where we need to place KPIs and where we need to pivot in the company. So that's where the pivoting comes from, is based off of the feedback that we get from agents and clients, across the board. Business partners, we like to get feedback from our business partners of what we can do differently and why. And so that's been title companies, mortgage loan officers, the roofers that come out, right? We want to
Sure.
know where and what we could do better next time, and then we take it and we implement it. So
Love it. I love
that's
that.
been
And that's so important. um, how you mentioned you're constantly learning and growing as individuals, but as teams, and then as you gather feedback, you make adjustments, you pivot this way, you adjust this way. And it's no secret in the mortgage business, we too have had to do the same. It's when the rates started to take its massive incline a couple years back, applications were slow,
Yeah.
and there were a lot of our colleagues that left the business. There were whole shops, companies that were shutting down and leaving the business. But that's where, most of us just rolled up our sleeves and said, you know what? You never leave the basics. You always go, people say, well, we got to go back to the basics. Well, we should never leave the basics, but sometimes we get busy, and maybe we do, and we stay in touch with our clients, just like you said. We get feedback from them. We ask them what are their needs are. Do they know anybody else that could use our help? And just by doing that and doing more things in the community, using our time better,
Yeah.
marketing, it's like the business never stops. It might slow a little bit, but then it picks up with momentum that you just can't stop. And
Oh,
that's what
yeah.
I see with the Bell Group. It seems like it's like a freight train that's just moving at speeds that, everybody's trying to hang on to.
Yeah, I'm like, I do love that. I do hope that for all of them when they win, everybody wins, So it's a
Well,
win for everybody.
that's super exciting. And, I have to talk about this part here. I know you're Emmy-nominated host at the American Dream. You just took a trip, and I don't know how many details you can share about that, but can you tell us a little bit about that? That's pretty amazing.
Thanks. We're super excited to be there. It's funny, John, because when the American Dream TV reached out, I thought their first email was junk, like spam. And I was
Right?
like, oh no. Yeah, I did. So I deleted it, I got it out of the way. And then she sent another one and I was like, I don't know. And then she sent a third one. She's like, Amanda, Craig's gonna be there, the founder, the CEO. He's gonna be in Dallas. Like she said, we've had over three other agents recommend you specifically in the DFW area. He's really wanting to make sure you can make it there. And I thought, well, gosh, that's more personal than junk, So I wrote her back and I said, I'm so sorry. I thought that this was spam. Man, I just trashing them, and I apologize. And so sure enough, I went and met up with him and I debated even that morning of it get driving to Dallas, it's an hour there, an hour back. And I'm trying to make sure that the the agents and families are fed, over here. So I was really trying to
Sure.
watch the hours and where they were going. And I thought, well, you'll just go hear it out. I didn't know anything about it, and sure enough, I did. But so we did. We got offered to be on that TV show. The team really led the way there. Is the gosh honest truth. If it wasn't for the number of awards and things, they just got announced number one with Berkshire Hathaway, which is absolutely incredible. It's our first time ever. Thank you.
Congrats.
Um, to be number one. We've been in the top 2% of the nation with Berkshire Hathaway for the last 4 or 5 years, but for them to hit number one last month, I think I cried.
Fantastic.
Because I know the amount of work they put in. I saw Lauren mowing the yard and Bryce cleaning out the inside of a home to move tenant to be able to put it on the market to have his new homeowners be able to put it up for lease for tenants to come in, and there's no electricity and it's triple digits in Texas, and
Ooh,
Tori's over here moving furniture in the triple digits with her clients just to get it out in time. And I saw the amount of work that went into what they did, and to see their literal blood, sweat, and tears go into it for the award to come out the very next month. It just really tugged at me a lot. So I'm so proud of them. I absolutely love what they do for our community. That's who they do it for, and uh, I just couldn't be more grateful. That's what I believe the ripple effect needs to be left in any area we go to. So we took the American Dream TV out to, it's all about positive media, right? It's all about positive
sure.
media. So we took them first to our community and showed them Joe T. Garcia's, which is an amazing Mexican restaurant that's been around since the 30s here in Fort Worth. And then our second trip was to Mexico. I've actually got a team called the Power of Three real estate team for investing in Mexico.
Wonderful.
There's about 20 agents over there, and those guys are helping foreigners invest in Mexico. And so those guys are that team is absolutely crushing it. We started that team about a year and a half ago, so close to 2 years. Yeah, I think we're at like 18 months now. So we took them out there to meet the team and see what the American dream was to be able to move money into Mexico and watch it climb. I tell everybody it's if you could have been Warren Buffett in the 70s or 80s in America, get your butt in Mexico because that's the opportunity you have today. You can
Right.
climb that market to the top for very affordable if you're willing to. Not saying it's easy, but if you're willing to make a couple steps and trust the team that's leading you there, you got 18 grand to put down. Let's go. It's time to move. You can get your condo on the water. 8,000. Honestly, you can land big for 8,000. So we went and showed them all the things about Mexico and the team out there. And that was a really good time. And just spreading the word for everybody is what it's all about. So
That's absolutely amazing. And, you know, it just what I'm sensing, what I'm getting is from all of that. I mean, that kind of stuff can go to people's head, but the humility that's coming from you as the leader of all of these people, and yet to have uh, number one position in the company, uh, on a TV show that is promoting, the American dream, and the dream for others to be able to invest in other countries like Mexico. um, I love that spirit that comes from you and that emanates so
mhm.
positively, but yet so humbly as well. Thank you for sharing that. That's
Thanks, John. I'm like, don't make me cry. I already told you I almost did that already. Can you help with tears? Thanks. It is
happy
humiliating
tears.
to be a business owner. You can't, you almost can't get there without it.
Well, how
Uh,
many approximately, you said there's about 20, 22 or so down there in your team. How many here work on your team with the Bell Group in the Dallas Fort Worth area?
so we've got 10 here in the DFW area, and that is strategic. Like it's done we don't want it much larger than that. I don't want 20 agents on this team. We are looking for two more to make it 10 total agents. I'm sorry, three more. We have one that might be joining. It's just not set in stone. So two more, 2 to 3. You never know is the thing, to put your foot in your mouth every time. But so a total of 10 buyers agents are what we're looking for in the Metroplex. We currently have officially 6 on the team. We have 2 that are about to join. And so really we have 2 more spots. Yeah.
I am going to do my best to think about who might be a good fit and possibly recommend them to you. And if that
I
works,
love that.
wonderful. But I can see why you're able to. And this is just an observation. I visit brokerages all the time, and I see people that have hundreds of agents out there. And what comes to my mind first is how much time are they truly able to give mentoring these, either if they're new agents in the business or perhaps they're new to this system coming over from another brokerage? How much time are you actually able to give to them so that they'll grow and they'll flourish and they'll truly be able to give back to their community? And the answer is very, very little, because
Yeah.
that's where I get asked, hey, I've got a new agent in my office. In fact, I have 20 of them. Could you take them out door knocking? Could you take them out here? Could you? And I'm happy to help, of course, but I can't. From what I've heard today, you're scaling appropriately and you're training these people to be rock stars in their communities. And I love that approach.
Thank you, John. We love you. Thank you. I didn't understand the amount of hours that it would take to pour into a new agent when I first started. Is the gosh honest truth. The agents that have been here aren't the ones that started here. The ones that have been here the longest today are not the originals that I very first worked with at all. It's taken a lot of trial and error and not pouring into them the way that I should have. It's simply just trying to run to pay the next bill is
Yeah.
honestly where it
Yeah.
started.
Right.
And just like, if you want to run, run, but I have to, and so it was a big difference from where we're at then to where we're at today. And so everybody knows the vision, everybody knows where we're headed and why we're headed there. And they all know where they're able to be at this. We always use the spoke of a wheel as our analogy. And if one spoke is broken, we're wobbling down the road now, right? And we got the school bus with all the clients and business partners and future clients, past clients, everybody's on this bus, and now we got this whole spoke. Like, Bryce, straighten up, man, straighten up. So we're big to do all that, but they do know that my sole mission is to pour back into them. It is to bring them the resources and to rein the leads and to all the things. And so if they can truly hold their spokes, I will truly hold mine. And mine is to pour into you and to remind you that you're a brilliant human, and to show you the contracts. And anybody can learn a contract. Anybody can read a contract like the back of their hand. They can find the gray areas. They can do that. That's one of the first pieces that you can do, right? But to be able to learn yourself and then to learn your client at a deeper level and truly understand and zoom out, to be able to see it from God's perspective the entire time, that's where you're able to tap into the creativity. That's where, and then you can have some fun because there's an abundance of solutions. So that's where all of it, it's not, we didn't start there. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't, please don't make it sound like we started it. That's not what happened, but it is getting there, and we're ever perfecting it. And I say perfecting it lightly, some days are shit shows.
Yeah, I understand
Sense.
that. You mentioned something that's really just resonates is that it takes time. It takes time, and the time that you're willing to spend in helping these folks be the best versions of themselves. Um, Intellectually, you start with like all these various pieces of training that I can tell you by far many agents out there, whether they're just starting in the business or perhaps they've been in the business a long time, but they never got the good pillars. They never got the foundation that you spoke about. And unfortunately, now we talk about just briefly that NAR settlement and some buyers are scared out of their mind, buyers agents, I should say, because maybe they realize, oh my goodness, I don't know if I'm ready for this. How can I tell people what my value is? And what I see in your agents, you've they've already been providing value. They will have no problem explaining the value that they'll be offering for their compensation. Talk to me a little bit about that. What preparations have you been making, for them, and what do you think about this settlement stuff? And
Yeah, so the settlement just hasn't been an issue for us. I did have a couple of agents get in the office and they were naturally concerned, right? I think that anybody that is concerned is simply concerned because they don't have enough information to put them at peace. And that's where the agents are able to dive into the information, the full amount of knowledge and information that they have today to really calm any other agent down. The clients, the communities aren't worried about it at all. In fact, if we don't bring it up, they're not. And we've already been full disclosure on how commissions work, so nothing really changed there. Now, the piece that is pivoting a little bit for us is the buyer's rep agreement being signed before you enter any home. And that is the one piece that'll be moving for us. And we're just taking it to what we call a jot form, which is free to use, and you can create an electronic link for them to complete and sign. And so if somebody calls you while you're out, just because you don't have one of your buyer's agent folders with you, you've got the agreement, you can text it to them, they can sign it, and you can get in the house. So
perfect.
we just sped up the process a little bit more. I think every agent should maybe go look into creating a jot form buyer's rep agreement, and that way they have it on hand and ready to go. But outside of that, we're just gonna keep rocking and rolling.
And I think you really hit the key on the head. Or the nail on the head is that
Like, we
we
work
don't
with
get to.
keys all day.
Yeah, I know, right?
We need those.
If we don't make a big deal out of it, they won't either.
Yeah,
And if we continue to show them the value that we've been showing them, it's not going to be a big deal.
yeah.
And it just well, I'm glad you mentioned that. And I tell you what, we could talk hours. I know you have so much more to offer, and I'm going to save that for another opportunity. But I'm going to ask just one last question.
Of course.
There's new agents, there's longtime agents. There's been a pandemic, there's challenging times. We've talked about pivots and challenges and overcoming these things. What advice would you have for these agents, even other small business owners, to be successful and to stay successful moving forward?
To be successful, I think it's going to start with your mindset. I think that you have to, I do believe that you have to be able to see yourself there, genuinely see yourself there. So maybe spend some time on, if you don't meditate, just spend some time with your eyes closed and picture yourself. Whether it's today version of you or 5 years or whatever, but picture yourself and what does that success look like, and emit those vibrations and frequencies into the world and see what aligns with it naturally. The amount of confidence and courage that you can walk with after that, making a dial feels simpler, putting knuckles on doors feels simpler, starting the car and getting to the listing appointment feels simpler. The amount of confidence that that can take you through is game changer. I've seen it in many agents. I've seen it in myself. So seeing the success first would be my first piece. Now keeping it is the second piece, and it's going to be executing. It's going to be executing on the tasks that you know you need to get done every day, and asking yourself if that appointment is going to serve your future for whatever it looks like. Some people, they want to know their currency is in dollars. So does that appointment serve your currency in dollars or not? Right? Get very specific on what it is you're looking for, and make sure that you're spending your time there and have fun doing it. That's it. Like that would be a wrap. If you can have some fun doing it, people can feel that and they know that, and it makes it more enjoyable for everybody.
What excellent, excellent advice. And as you can see in my picture over here,
I
behind
did see that.
every good business, woman or man, there's a family that loves and supports us. My wife, Jin May, and I, we look forward to the privilege of being able to meet you and your family. We have friends and relatives out in the Dallas area that we're trying to come and visit here before the close of the year. So if we do that, I'll definitely ping you and hope we can meet your family as well.
Yeah, that would be fun, John. We've got an end of the year holiday party. So clients, everybody will be there. It's a really good time. We do it every year. You're more than welcome. Like if you're here around the holidays, it's we just put a date on it. It's gonna be November. I want to say they said it was the 14th. It's like the second Thursday of November.
Oh,
Uh
cool. I just wrote
yeah. So if you guys are in town seeing your friends and family around that time frame, I'm like, let's go. I'd
that
love to
would
come say
be
hi to everybody.
so much fun. Well, thank you so much, Amanda. Being, the title of this podcast or the theme is the mindset of a champion. What sets you apart? There's no doubt that you are a champion in your field and in the home front, in your community, in your training. So many other champions to have the same mindset that you have. And it's very clear that it
Thank
sets you apart as a brokerage working with Berkshire Hathaway there. And I'm very grateful that you were able to join this morning on our podcast.
Likewise, John. I hope you have a great day. I'll talk to you soon.
Love it. Sounds good. Talk to you soon.